Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Chosen Scoop. I'm Jim Luff with Aurora Payments, the parent company of Chosen Payments. Joining me today is my good friend, Jesse Bunker, who is the president of the Arizona Limousine Association. Welcome to The Chosen Scoop, Jesse.
Thank you, Jim.
So let's jump right in and talk about the Arizona Limousine Association. Now, obviously, I probably don't have to point out what you represent, what type of industry it is, but tell us a little bit about the primary mission of the Arizona Limousine Association to its members.
Our primary mission for our members is education, the information, um, professionalization of the members, also networking. It's a great resource for members to meet other members and trade work back and forth and know that we're all on the same playing field as far as insurance and professionalism, etc.
Yeah, that's probably, I would think in Arizona, it would be pretty important that you guys band together and help each other out once in a while. So, really, I would imagine your association probably builds camaraderie between the members.
Of course, yeah, we do. We have a great membership, and everyone trades work back and forth. A lot of us are smaller operators, and it's important to get coverage when we need it, and especially with events like Super Bowl and waste management coming up, it's super important.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Super Bowl in just a little bit because I know that I'm California based, and this past year the Super Bowl was held in California, and that definitely will present some challenges. But you brought up another topic that most of the operators in Arizona are smaller. What are some of the resources or benefits that the Arizona Limousine Association delivers to their members that helps address maybe smaller operators?
Well, we have partnerships with shops such as the Limo Repair Phoenix, who gives a 10% discount on repairs, which is huge because we all know that cars break down. We also have partnerships with tire shops and paint places and just benefits like that. And we also can put you in touch with insurance people and tax people
And credit card processing
and
people.
and chosen payments, of course.
How about in terms of educational support? Is there a mechanism for that?
Our educational support, I would say that's probably our number one reason that we exist, is to give operators the knowledge that they need and help them run their business correctly. A lot of them, they have a car and they have their insurance, but they need a little bit of help. So
Mhm.
that's important to us.
Along with that, let's look at a mechanism for disseminating information. We talked a little bit about Super Bowl, but I imagine the association probably kind of serves as a repository of information for things that might affect your industry. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah, we are in the process of meeting with the airport and also trying to meet with the NFL about parking and more information about that. They won't have any information for us until December, but yeah, Super Bowl and all the stuff that goes along with us is huge this year.
And I would say that the limousine industry, which for those of you watching that might not know this, I spent 27 years in the business myself, so I have a little bit more understanding than I do of some of our other industries that we serve, like jewelers and funeral homes and oh, nightclubs. But anyway, in the limousine industry, it is a highly regulated industry, brought on because we're driving human beings as passengers. Does the ALA get involved in any kind of work with regulators, legislators about maybe unfair rules?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So you would be the association would be an advocate for members in unfair legislation.
Of course, and we've met with the airport recently about our fingerprint background checks that we have to have as limousine operators because we can go into baggage claim, and Uber and Lyft doesn't have to have it. And we have a different set of insurance requirements that they don't have to have. So there's stuff that we're working on actively as time goes on to try to make it a more level playing field.
Okay. And I apologize, viewers. We did lose Jesse for just a moment on the video, but obviously he's back. Um, let's talk about drug and alcohol testing. Is there in Arizona, is there a requirement for chauffeurs to be drug and alcohol tested?
Only for commercial drivers.
Okay, that are driving the larger vehicles.
Correct.
Okay. So in California, it is mandated that chauffeurs are subject to drug and alcohol testing. And initially, they are subject to drug and alcohol testing when they're initially hired, and then subject to random inspections after that. But there's no such requirement for Uber or Lyft drivers, even though both companies are engaged in the same exact thing. And Jesse, we did lose your video again for a second there, so glad you're back. Maybe hold it steady, whatever you're doing there. But anyway, I'm glad to see that your association serves as an advocate for operators, because it is certainly an unfair playing field. And for those of you that are using Ubers and taking a $13 ride when compared to a $60 ride, yes, the limousine industry is held to a higher standard, but a lot of the higher rates that you're seeing in the limousine industry is a result of unfair competition and unfair regulation, where these limo operators are spending as much as $60 to $75 on drug and alcohol testing, for Uber doesn't have to spend a dime for doing the same thing. So it is kind of unfair. Moving along, Chosen Payments has been a supporting partner of the Arizona Limousine Association for quite some time. I know I've been involved since 2016. And in the past, we put together a casino night as a fundraiser for your association. How important is it for you to have support from vendors that serve your industry, Jesse?
Support from huge for us, not only financially, but also the information that you bring to the association is huge.
Yeah, I believe your organization is 100% volunteer run, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, sometimes bringing together some outsiders that might have some experience in putting together events such as casino night, I'm sure can be very helpful to a board that's made up, of volunteers that may not have the time, the resources, or the knowledge to put together a fundraiser. So we were certainly happy to do that for you. And I would say that it really takes a whole community to support a trade association, not just the members, but the external, components as well. As you mentioned, you have insurance companies that do work with you, credit card processing companies, mechanics, and all of these people can provide, a contributing resource to ALA. What other examples of value can we talk about that Chosen Payments has delivered by being a supporter?
Well, first thing I could think of is having you on our board has been huge. And the help that I got when I switched to Chosen Payments was perfect. They made it seamless transition with my credit card processing, no problems. I had one little issue and they got on it right away and it was fixed the same day. So the Chosen Payments has been great for the ALA.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we certainly try to put our hands out and extend our hands to as many people as we can. And I'm very honored to be a part of many different boards and many different committees that both Aurora Payments and Chosen Payments serve. So I love being on your board, Jesse.
Well,
I love being able to participate with the ALA members and help them grow their businesses. Let's talk for a minute about for the past few years, the ALA launched an educational summit for members, and I believe non-members were invited to that as well. Really, anybody that wanted to come and get an education. Can you share Chosen Payments' involvement with that program?
Yeah, Chosen Payments not only supported us financially with that program, but also yourself was there. With you did the part about ethics. I believe Ken Lucci was there, did the mergers and acquisitions. We also had another limousine operator from California that came and spoke about the transition to electric vehicles. So that was a great summit. It really a lot of education and information was shared that over those 2 days.
Yeah, I thought overall it was an outstanding program. I was particularly honored that Chosen Payments' parent company, Aurora Payments, is based in Tempe, Arizona. So our CEO came and attended part of the sessions, and that was pretty cool that we got him and a few other of our key leadership people to come and attend your event simply because it was in their backyard. Um, let's talk a little more about trade associations in general. Do you think that belonging to a trade association is important in as far as an investment of companies, regardless of what industry you might be in? Do you see them as being valuable?
I think it's very important. We have strength in numbers, and it's a great way to get everyone together. Uh, in terms of like, if we need to get something passed in with the government, or like the unfair practices, if we're not together, we have no voice.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think that, there is certainly um power when your numbers are big and people listen to you a lot more when more people are affected than just a handful. And speaking of being affected, we touched on this a little bit. Super Bowl 2023 is going to be held in Arizona at the State Farm Stadium. What kind of challenges might this present to your members or just people, maybe not members, but in the industry who are trying to go it alone? What kind of challenges might you expect to see?
Well, for one, there's going to be coverage challenges because unlike California, where you have 15,000 black cars running around in LA, in Arizona, you might have 500. And obviously, that's not going to be enough. We have the Waste Management Open, which is the same week as Super Bowl, which is basically like its own Super Bowl golf tournament. And
Oh
also,
boy.
outside operators are going to have the same fingerprint background and decals that Arizona operators have to use. In order to do that, they're going to have to do fingerprint background checks, which is going to take a couple weeks just to get cleared.
Yeah, I can see that this would be a challenge to Arizona to deliver the transportation. Um, and then, there's probably other issues. I know in California, there were concerns about where the vehicles would park, where the drivers would be fed, where you're going to drop people off, where you're going to pick them up after the game. It's a lot of logistics. And I think that having a trade association that can manage and disseminate all the information is going to be super important to the success of the Super Bowl in terms of ground transportation. As you know, the Super Bowl is supported by a lot of corporate sponsors like AT&T, Budweiser, that are all going to be needing transportation for a lot of people.
Yes, this is going to be a huge event.
Now, are you actively working with the stadium as well as the NFL with respect to ground transportation?
The stadium actually has no authority over parking. It's all done by the NFL. And the information that we have is that the NFL is not going to have information about parking till December. And we're actively working with the airport, and they have given us some information, but they don't know about parking at the stadium either. So that's number one on our list of priorities right now is parking at the Super Bowl.
All right. And as we begin wrapping up here, what do you consider to be the most important consideration when partnering with a supplier like Chosen Payments?
Um, the most important thing when partnering with a supplier like Chosen Payments, I think, is knowledge of our industry, support. We all get credit card chargebacks at times, and just the way that business is handled in general is great with Chosen Payments.
I love hearing that. To us, um, providing discounted credit card processing is important. And as you mentioned, providing other support, and I'm going to touch on something that you touched on, and that is knowledge of your industry. So I myself am very involved in handling chargebacks for limousine operators. And folks, if you're in the limo business, you have a chargeback and you know you've done nothing wrong, reach out to us. I will help you. And I'm really proud of this record, Jesse. I win 9 out of 10 chargebacks for limousine operators. And I'm going to even go as far as to say, if you're not with Chosen Payments and you have a chargeback and you need help, call me. I'll help you. I know what to say. I know how to get people to reverse chargebacks. But other things that I want to share with you are that are important to us is sponsorship of your events, sharing revenue with you of the money that we make off of your members is important to us. But really, we just want to be there and help your members thrive and grow. And I have to ask, as the president of the association, I'm going to assume that you probably own a limousine company as well. Is that right?
Yes, I do. I own Black and White Limo in Phoenix, Arizona.
And share with us who your typical customers are. Are you doing the wedding stuff? Are you doing corporate transportation? You do funerals? You do it all? What do you do?
We do weddings and a lot of retail airport work, not so much heavy into the corporate side of the business.
Okay. And how long have you been in the industry?
I started as a driver in 2005 and started my company in 2015.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you spent 10 years being a driver for somebody else and then went out on your own.
Correct.
Congratulations for taking that leap of faith. And
Thank
I
you.
know it was a leap of faith,
Yes,
right?
it wasn't easy with one car in the beginning.
Yeah. So, again, wrapping up, what, since you are an operator, what do you see as being some concerns that your industry has at the present time?
Insurance is a huge concern. It goes up every single year, whether you have an accident or not. Also, the unfair competition with Uber and Lyft, which they're not going anywhere. You just have to deal with it. And shortage of drivers is a huge concern as well.
Absolutely. How is, do you do a lot of airport pickups here, Jesse?
Yes, we do. That's probably 70% of our work.
So, how is this airline pilot shortage and all the cancellation and delays of flights? Is that affecting your business?
Yes, it is. It's horrible because you obviously can't charge a client when their flight is canceled because they have nothing to do with it. So yeah, it's putting a dent in our pocketbook for sure.
Yeah, I recently, last month, went to Washington, D.C. with the National Limousine Association and walked the halls of Congress. And we actually lobbied Congress and state senators that this law that forces pilots to retire at such a young age is really not a good law. You're taking pilots that have years and years of history. And I mean, I don't know about you, Jesse, but if things go bad in the air, I think I'd rather have a 60-year-old pilot handling the emergency than a 25-year-old pilot, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. I definitely would want a veteran pilot.
So we did ask Congress to drop that law that requires pilots to retire at the current age they're causing them to retire at. It's just adding to problems within the airline industry as well as within the ground transportation industry. So I hope that works out. Jesse, you've shared some great information. We are out of time for this episode of The Chosen Scoop. I've been talking to my friend Jesse Bunker, who is the president of the Arizona Limousine Association. I thank you so much for being here today, Jesse. Any parting words?
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Look forward to doing it again sometime.
All right. And we appreciate you watching today. And we hope to see you back here on another episode of The Chosen Scoop in the very near future. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.